Welcome to Swoop Podcast, and here are your hosts, Dante Fantuzzi and Josh Sanchez.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Swoop Podcast. It's your guest for the night, Dante Fantuzzi, and I'm here with my partner,
Josh Sanchez.
And to start off with our first topic, it's something different. We're gonna give our top 5 most underrated players in the league in basketball.
Currently, right now.
Yeah, currently, right now. I want you to start off with this topic, Josh.
You want me to start off with this topic?
Yeah.
Well, top 5 most underrated players. I'm just going off of this season so far, and a lot of people are going to have their different opinions, but here's my opinion. I don't have any particular order. I'm just going to name a couple players that I think are highly underrated, starting with Mike Conley out of the Memphis Grizzlies. Very underrated, averaging 20 points a game this season, 6 assists this season. He's always the leader of the Grizzlies whenever they need a big-time shot. Yeah, Markel, but there's also Mike Conley right there too. Very underrated defender, and has not made an All-Star appearance yet, which is shocking to me. I'm surprised he has not made at least one. Another guy, out of all the young guys, we think about Karl-Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid. This guy, Nikola Jokic out of the Denver Nuggets, has 6 triple-doubles this year. I believe he said when he was on LeBron James, he said whenever LeBron's on me, it's a mismatch, which I think is funny. And he is averaging 16.5 points a game this year, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He's having a breakout year, and a lot of people are sleeping on his talent. The reason why the Denver Nuggets are fighting for that 8th seed is because of Jokic. He has a great future in this league. And because of Karl-Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and even the new guys coming this year like Lonzo Ball, they're talked about the future. No one's really talking about Jokic as the future of the NBA. I mean, if you guys saw the Rising Star Challenge, he no-look passes. For a big man, he drops dimes. Now, moving on, another guy, Rudy Gobert out of the Utah Jazz. He almost made the All-Star team this year, but didn't make it. He doesn't really score a lot of points. He averages 13 points a game, which is fine. But a lot of people don't realize this. The Utah Jazz have a top 5 ranked defense in the NBA. And a lot of it is because of Rudy Gobert and his paint protection. He's averaging 2.5 blocks a game this year, 12 rebounds a game this year. And again, he's a huge defensive presence. Doesn't he have like a standing reach of like 7'5" or something crazy?
Something like
that. The reason why the Jazz are so good this year, a lot of people say Gordon Hayward, but don't sleep on Rudy Gobert and his defensive presence. Another guy out of the Houston Rockets. When Dwight Howard left, a lot of people had question marks on who's going to replace him. I mean, Dwight Howard, he ended on bad terms, but this young guy, Clint Capella, another guy that gets slept on the shadows of the new young talent in the league. He's like a mini version of DeAndre Jordan, and a lot of James Harden's assists go to him. And he's averaging 12 points a game, 8 rebounds, is a great rim protector for the Houston Rockets. I mean, a lot of people say they have no defense, but he is the defense that the Rockets have, averaging 1.5 blocks and shooting 64% from the floor. So he's, another young talent that gets slept on because of what we hear on the media about Karl-Anthony Towns and Embiid and so on and so forth. Clint Capella's had a huge breakout year this year, and a lot of people haven't talked about it. I just have a couple more names to go off of. George Hill, Utah Jazz, very underrated point guard. Remember when the Pacers went back-to-back conference finals?
Yeah.
He was the starting point guard on that team.
He was.
Very underrated defender. And here's a quick fact. Whenever he scores over 20 points this year, the Utah Jazz are 21-5. And he's averaging 17 points and 5 assists a game. A very good defender on the Jazz team. Very good player.
See, one thing, I don't mean to cut you off, but one thing about George Hill, because I'm a Pacers fan. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a Paul George fan. I think that George Hill has the tendency of getting nervous in big situations, because there was plenty of times when the year that the Heat and the Pacers
Went to 7 games.
and the year
Yes.
after that they went to 6 games.
Yes.
As the game continued on, he faded away from the game.
Mm-hmm.
It was like he didn't even want the ball in his hands. That was the only problem I ever had with him.
Yeah.
He's a good jump shooter. He's a good 3-point specialist for the team.
Yeah.
But I just think that in key situations, you can't consider him to be a clutch player.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not calling him a clutch player, but I just don't think he can ever live up to that hype because he doesn't want to show up in big games. Or you'll show up, but you want to fade away when it's crunch time. Like that, you need to show up. You need to be there for your team, and that was just something he did 2 years back to back.
Yeah, but again, I just think he's underrated because of his defensive ability as well. He's a very good defending point guard, and he has great size for the point guard position. And I mean, the Jazz are the 4th seed in the Western Conference, and there's a reason why they're the 4th seed in the Western Conference. Another guy who recently, I'll get through it quick. My fault. Who recently has really put up big numbers ever since the trade is Jusuf Nurkic. If I pronounce his name wrong, I apologize. Ever since he was traded from the Nuggets to the Trailblazers, he's been averaging 16 points a game, 10 rebounds a game. And when he plays, because he's been hurt the past 3 games, the Trailblazers are 14-6 since the trade. So the Trailblazers have elevated their game because of this guy. I mean, yeah, Damian Lillard does his thing, CJ McCollum does his thing, but don't forget about Nurkic, who gives him that double-double offensive ability. Very underrated. He was the backup to Jokic in Denver, finally got an opportunity, and now he's starting to live up to the hype that he had. 2 more names I have that pretty much are the similar players. CJ Miles out of the Pacers. He is very underrated as a jump shooter. He shoots 41% from 3 and has hit 161 3-pointers this season. And he's come out of nowhere for the Pacers. And last but not least, Tim Hardaway Jr. out of Atlanta. He's averaging 14 points a game, shoots 35% from 3, and is on pace to shoot over 150 threes this season. He's at about like 145 right now. So 2 guys that have a similar style, catch, shoot threes, can drain the 3-pointer, come out of nowhere seasons. I mean, I wasn't expecting Tim Hardaway to hit that many threes, as well as CJ Miles. So that wraps up my NBA underrated players. So I'm gonna hand it over to you now, Dante.
Well, my number one overall underrated player has to be Giannis Antetokounmpo. I believe this man is the next up and coming LeBron James. He's still very, very young. I think he's only 22 years old, and he flirts with a triple double every night. Mind you, last season he only averaged 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists a game. This season he's averaging 23, 8 points, and 5 assists a game.
And he was an all-star, just like Gordon Hayward was too, for both first-time all-stars.
Yeah, and I think I missaid it wrong. He's averaging 23 points, 8 rebounds with 5 assists. I think I said 8 points. Pardon me, but I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league. For as big as he is, he can shoot well. He's still young. He still has room to improve, and I think his talent is still raw. I think that when he gets to his prime age, the prime years of his life, and he takes that next step and that next level in his game, he's going to be the best player in this world when he takes that next leap.
Bold predictions.
Yes. No, it's not even a prediction. It's a fact.
It's a fact?
Giannis Antetokounmpo will be the best player in the world in an upcoming 4 years. My man is the absolute most underrated player in this league. I think out of all I already think he's a superstar. But when we talk superstars, nobody ever includes his name.
Yeah. Well, it's only because this is his first breakout year. Like, for me personally, I count someone as a superstar if they're able to do it consistently. If he's able to put up the same numbers he had last year, this year, next year, I'll consider him a superstar player.
And My second underrated player in this league has to be from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Tristan Thompson. Tristan, I think, is this generation's what's his name? The guy that played for the he played with Jordan, Dennis Rodman. I think he's this generation's Dennis Rodman. He's a bulldozer in the paint. I don't think anybody can stop him when he's going. He's not very a factor on offense, but he can be a factor. But on defense, though, I think he's the reason why the Cavaliers score as many points as they do in some situations. His ability for second chance points to help Kyrie, Love, and LeBron. This last season, when they played the Warriors in the finals, they were averaging. No, I think it was. Matter of fact, I think it was last season. They played the Warriors in the finals. With him on the bench, they were on pace to average 118 points. But with him in the game, they only averaged 98 points.
Yeah, he was able to guard Steph very well, because you know what the Warriors do, like they switch players up so where they have a big man on a little guy, and he like Steven Adams in the playoffs.
They run the back screens. They set the guards up top. Well, no, the guards are down low. They set the back screens. They get the switch, and you'll have whoever, like Steph Curry on, let's say, for instance, Kevin Love and that type of nonsense. But I think Tristan Thompson is one of the most underrated players in this league. Like I said, he's this generation's Rodman, and I don't think there's any other player in this league that can alterate shots the way he does. I just think that he's just such a bulldozer in the paint that he's unable to be stopped. Moving on my list, another underrated player I have is the point guard from the Miami Heat, Goran Dragic. He consistently brings it every night, every single night, ever since he stepped foot into the league. He's brought it here. He's brought it night in, night out. I think this season he took that extra lead with Dwayne Wade leaving. There's been times when they've played and you hear the crowd chant MVP, MVP, MVP for Goran Dragic. I like his game. I like the way he, how do you say? I like the way he controls the offense, his flow of the game. He lets everything come to him. He's averaging 20 points with 3 rebounds and 5 assists a game. His style of game is just really how I would like to see most point guards play, but unfortunately, it's not. To round off my top 5, but to go on to number 4, I think my fourth underrated player in this league is point guard Kemba Walker. I think Kemba Walker is the reason for the Charlotte Hornets' success. Without him, they would be nowhere. I don't even think they would be in a playoff spot right now. Kemba, when he first got into the league, everybody was questioning him. He was too small. His versatility wasn't there, and etc. But I just think that he's proved everybody wrong, and he's done it consistently. I mean, not to like a superstar talent level, but I just think that he's put it, like, I think his consistency and his numbers have put him among the superstars in the league and one of the best point guards in the league. But I just think that he doesn't really have any help with Charlotte. So, and he's not, the Russell Westbrook. So I think that's why nobody will ever label him there, because how Russell doesn't have a team there with him, but the Thunder are where they are. Yeah. I think it's the same situation, but come on, Kemba and Russell, I really can't compare them.
Well, right now the Hornets, they are losing a lot of games a lot lately. They right now I think they're the outside looking in, but
they are.
Yeah, like they were a playoff team, but now they're starting to like fade off because they just don't have anything around Kemba. I mean, Kemba was a first time All-Star too, so like he's up and coming as well. To wrap up your top 5.
To wrap up my top 5, this player just came into the league Well, not just came into the league. I believe that this is his third season in the league. This young man has gotten better every year, and I think you can see it in his statisticals and his play on the floor. I'm going to have to round it off with Andrew Wiggins.
He's underrated?
How was he? What do you think, he's overrated?
Not overrated. I just think, when you think of the Timberwolves, I think of Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins.
I mean, ever since he stepped into the league, he has improved.
Yeah.
This season, he's averaging 23 points with 4 rebounds and 2 assists.
I know. I agree with you. I just think, like, when you think of the Timberwolves, you just think of Wiggins and Towns.
I mean, I don't think he gets much credibility to where he gets. I mean, it doesn't show in the wins and losses. Yeah. But I just think his style and his game doesn't get very much credit.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's probably because he's on the Timberwolves. That's why they're all. I just feel
like the Timberwolves are just one player away. Like, I just feel like they're one score away. Like, if they can get, for instance, like, let's say if they were able to get Jason Tatum in this draft, the Timberwolves would be a wreck to mess with in the upcoming future.
All right. Well, that wraps up our top 5, but I just want to move on to the Timberwolves just a little bit. The problem with what I see with the Timberwolves is not offensively, is defensively. Karl Anthony Towns, as great of a player he is, when it comes to defensive ability, if there's a part of his game where he needs to improve, it's defense for him. As the center of your team, you got to be more of a rim protector. I mean, yeah, everyone says, oh, yeah, he gets like 1.4 blocks or something like that. But it's Karl Anthony Towns. The way how he is offensively, that should translate the way he is defensively. Like Andrew Wiggins, again, another great offensive player, but he's still learning how to play defense in the league too. And that's the problem where the Timberwolves have this year. On offense, they're a scary team. If Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins get going, it's scary. And if you add Tatum to the team, I agree. It's their offense is scary. But what hurts them is defensively. Defensively, they are a very poor defensive team. And it starts with the leaders on your team. I mean, they're young, so I'm not going to, bash them. It's going to take them a couple more years to get used to it. But a lot of people thought the Timberwolves were going to be the 8th seed in the Western Conference Finals. And the reason why I believe they took a step back this year, because I was one of them that thought they were going to contend for that 8th spot. But instead, they're not even contending. They're clearly a lottery team. It's because of defensively. I overrated their offensive game and thought that they were going to be something big, especially when they upsetted the Golden State Warriors in the Oracle last year. They came back from 17 points down to upset them. I thought, man, this team's up and coming. They're going to come out next year and come out firing. But, again, it just shows you there's more. It's more than basketball than just offense. You got to be there defensively as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree too. That's a problem with them. And it's just surprising because Tom Thibodeau is their coach.
Yeah, but it's his first year, though, so it takes...
I mean, but necessarily, remember when he was in Chicago?
Yeah. They
had one of the best defenses in the league. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just
not clicking.
Maybe. We don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I feel like offensively, they're just a scorer away.
Yeah.
And they could just come together on defense. I think they make a push for that 6th to 8th seed next season.
Yeah, I'm rooting for them because they have not made the playoffs since 2004.
Did you see that game the other day when they played the Warriors?
Yeah, they're going.
Did you see my man Andrew Wiggins, what was on his head?
Yeah.
Them braids was tight as hell.
Them braids, man.
I think that was the reason why he shot that air ball.
I'm not even going to lie. Low key, Embiid and Wiggins, they did play together in Kansas.
Oh, I would love if Wiggins came to Philly. If Wiggins came to Philly, oh my God.
All right, you ready to move on?
Yeah,
I just want to bring the Timberwolves a little bit.
Let's hit it next. What's the next topic?
All right, now next topic. Here's another highly talked about debate when it comes to the NBA. Who are the current NBA players who deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? I mean, we can go on. There's a pretty big list in my opinion. Dante, do you want to go first on this one?
I think current NBA players that should be in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, these just must be an obvious. LeBron,
Yes.
Kawhi, Chris Paul,
Yep.
Russell,
Melo.
I
Nah, he's one
See,
of
I
the
think
all-time scorers.
Yeah, he is, but I just think with Melo's situation, like, he's gonna probably be an Allen Iverson type. Like, I think he's gonna end up like Allen Iverson. Great career, but no rings to ever back him up.
So that's Hall of Fame, though, right?
Yeah. So all right, I'll throw Carmelo. Dirk, obviously, can't forget. Wow, I can't believe I forgot about Dirk.
Curry,
Steph,
yeah.
Clay, Damian.
I think it's too early for Damian Lillard right now. I just think it's too early. He's too early in his career right now. Now, if he stays at his pace, I think he'll be a Hall of Fame player. But as of like right now,
I think he'll be there. Kyle Korver.
Yeah, all-time shooter.
Who else is in the NBA? DeMarcus probably. I think DeMarcus is gonna probably end up like a Terrell Owens type thing.
Don't forget the San Antonio Spurs. Tony Parker.
We all know Ginobili are gonna be there.
Yeah, Ginobili doesn't have like the flashy stats, but 5 rings speaks for itself, and the way how he.
Ginobili's changed the game.
Yeah, and he's the first
he
Argentinian player in the NBA, and to win 5 rings.
Mm-hmm.
How about Pau Gasol, 2-time champ, one of the best passing big men in the game.
He'll probably make it.
Oh, don't forget Vince Carter.
Vince, can't forget. Yeah, I forgot.
He's
all
still in
about
the
Vince.
league.
I forgot all about Vince. Damn, that man's still in the league. Who else?
Kevin Durant. Did you already say KD?
No, I never say KD.
I mean, there's so many names. Chris Paul. Well, you
I
said
said
Chris
him.
Paul. Yeah. I feel bad for Chris Paul because
Probably Kyrie.
Kyrie, like right now. Well, yeah, he does have a ring.
I mean, but then again, it doesn't always have to come down to the ring.
I mean, Chris Mullin got in the NBA. Chris Mullin wasn't really all that. Sorry to you Chris Mullin fans out here. Did we say Dwayne Wade?
Dwayne Wade. Can't forget about Dwayne.
Paul Pierce. I have a couple people that are like, well, this guy's very disliked in the NBA. Dwight Howard.
Another Terrell Owens.
I just want to bring these facts out there because I know a lot of people hate Dwight Howard. 8-time All-Star, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. If Mutombo got in and he won a couple of Defensive Player of the Years, why shouldn't Dwight Howard? I'm just throwing that out there because I know a lot of people do not like Dwight Howard. I mean, yeah, lately he's not been playing good, but his stats speak for himself.
I just think because Dwight Howard's a crybaby. Like, when he doesn't get it his way, then it's the highway. I mean, we've seen it in Orlando. He left. He went to LA for a year. Didn't work out with Kobe. He left. He couldn't work out with Harden. He left again.
Now he's in Atlanta.
But I mean, Atlanta's not really the best team.
Yeah, they're good. But
I don't
not
really
great.
think they have any superstars there.
Yeah, I agree. I can go with that.
I just think he's too much of a crybaby to actually get. Like, this is why, like I said, he's another Terrell Owens because, like you said, the numbers are going to speak for itself. The stats will be there. But if you're not liked, then I don't think. Look at Terrell Owens. The numbers speak for himself.
He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Should be.
It's just his attitude, his character, and the way he goes about himself. He just cries. And, like, he literally cried in that press conference one time.
Yes.
Because they were talking about Tony Romo. So, I don't know. It's just something about Dwight. I like Dwight. I honestly used to back him up when I was considering him to be the best center in the NBA.
Yeah, he was at one point.
He was, but after he left Orlando, his play declined.
Yes.
He started to get the injuries. He started to cry more. Cry even more when Kobe didn't pass him the ball. And then cry again when Kobe didn't pass him the ball. And then when Kobe didn't pass him the ball, he cried again. and then he left to the Houston Rockets. Couldn't work with James Harden. Then he decides to get hurt when he's with the Houston Rockets. And then cry again when James Harden didn't pass him the ball. So I just think he's too much of a crybaby.
Now, I just have two more names. I want to hear your opinion on it. Well, you know how Tracy McGrady got into the NBA Hall of Fame this year. Do you think Chris Bosh gets in?
Yeah. I think Chris Bosh gets in. I think the reason that I think against some people, well, for some people, the case they're going to make is that, he had to join another team to win a ring and blase, blase, blase. But I just think that before he even left to the Heat, he was a superstar in the league. And the way he went about himself from going a top superstar in the league to going to the number 3 option with the Heat,
Yeah.
I think that really speaks a whole lot into a person that he is. And it's just a sad situation now for him that he has the whole heart thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see him come back, but I just think it's way too dangerous for him to come back. I mean, an elbow to the chest, you're dead.
Yeah.
So I just think if I'm him, I would stay retired, try and get a job as a coach or something small, work for an organization, but to come back and play, I think it's too dangerous for him to come do that.
Yeah.
Way too dangerous.
And last but not least, here's another guy that's highly talked about because he hasn't really been like a starter for most of his career. Jamal Crawford out of the Clippers. And I have some stats here that can prove his case to make the Hall.
Mm-hmm.
He has scored over 18,000 points in his career. He's a 3-time Six-Man Player of the Year. And he has made over 2,000 threes in his career. And everyone knows his nasty crossover, one of the best handles in the NBA. Do you think he gets in?
I think he'll get in. For sure, yeah. You think he'll get in?
Yeah, I think he'll get in. He deserves to get in. Not first ballot, but he'll probably get in.
I mean, like you said, his stats will eventually back him up to get in. So I think he'll get in. I mean, what did you say? He has like 18,000 points?
Yeah, over 18,000.
Over 18,000. Over 2,000 3-pointers. Nasty crossover. Mind you, he's like 37, 38 years old.
Yeah, he's 37.
So he's an old head still doing this and balling everybody up. Yeah, I think he'll get in for sure.
Yeah, I mean, borderline is like Mark Gasol. I don't really know.
I don't know.
He's not the flashiest player, but he gets the job done. Isn't he a multiple-time All-Star as well?
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm just
really
naming some
go
people
off
that
of,
are borderline.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like in some situations it's easy to make the Hall of Fame, but then again, in some situations it's hard to make the Hall of Fame. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think this is a hard topic to really discuss about because
we did name a lot of names.
Mm-hmm.
So that just shows you the talent in the NBA right now. I mean, we didn't even name James Harden's name out there.
We didn't.
Only because still young in his career.
Yeah, but eventually I think he'll make the Hall of Fame.
Eventually, yeah. But as of like right now, like this season has been spectacular. But the start of his career was, I mean, he was off the bench. So it's going to take a little bit. That's all.
I mean, he was off the bench still balling.
Yeah, he was balling. I will agree. I would put him in with like the Damian Lillards. Like you think he?
Nah, I'll place him above that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't really see them as Hall of Fame players yet, but they're on pace to be in the Hall of Fame if they continue to post numbers like they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
You think Rondo will make it?
Rondo. He might. Because he does have a good case for him. Like, I think he was a 3-time league leader in assists per game. Usually a lot of people that lead the league in a category more than once get in. And he did win a ring with the Celtics. But for him, it's probably going to be like borderline. He's probably going to be like in his like final ballot. Because those names that we mentioned, I would put pretty much all those names we mentioned ahead of him.
What about Isaiah Thomas?
I would put him with the Hardens and Lillards if he continues to produce the numbers he does. I think he'll get in. His size, and he's probably the best person under 6 foot to play the game. One of the best. I'm not going to say the best yet because there has been a couple great talents out there.
Nah, I think the best. I mean, remember in the NBA they always give you inches.
Yeah.
They always add you 1 inches. So I don't ever think Allen Iverson was over 6 foot. I don't think he was taller than 6 foot.
I can see that.
So if that's the case, then Allen Iverson is the greatest 6 foot or shorter player to ever come into the NBA.
Yeah, like best pound for pound. Like like I can't
All
say
right, then
I can say he's on pace to be one of the
Paul George.
Paul George. That's another tough one. I would put him again if he continues to produce the numbers he's doing. Like not as of right now, not Hall of Famer, but is on pace to be.
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Well, you're also a Paul George fan.
But I'm not saying it just because I'm a Paul George fan. The reason why I say it is because as we see in the career, he was pretty much heading to a top-tier superstar in the league. Then he had a whole setback with his foot. With his leg.
Yeah, it's a
and then he
great
comes
story.
back to become on pace for that top-tier superstar again. I mean, how many players do we see do that?
Yeah. I'm not going to put any knock against him, but if he just needs, he's just a little bit too young right now. If he continues to do it, a couple more seasons, I'll put him in. That's just my opinion. Because I mean, remember, they're still current players. It's not like they just stopped playing now.
Yeah, but respectable. I don't know. I think he'll make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think he will too. But right now, just he needs to continue to produce numbers. That's all. Because I mean, like the people that we said are locks produce numbers. Chris Paul's top 10 in assists all time. Like LeBron James, everyone knows his story. KD, if he stays, KD's almost about to reach 20,000 points in his career.
I think if KD retired now, he'll be in the Hall of Fame.
And he won an MVP. Kawhi Leonard, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Won a ring. He won 2 rings.
No, he won 1.
It wasn't 2?
When was he a rookie?
It's a good question.
Because if he was a rookie, because I know the Spurs won in 2014, he's been to 2 finals. But you remember they lost 1, and then he won the second one. So yeah, I mean he has a ring, Finals MVP to back him up. So I think Kawhi's already like the people that we have ahead of them. There's a reason why they're ahead of them.
Ahead of Kawhi?
No, ahead of Paul George.
Oh,
Damian Lillard,
okay, yeah.
And them.
Okay.
I'm not that crazy. I'm not gonna say that.
Okay.
But you ready to move on to our next topic?
Well, speaking of Hall of Famers, we obviously have the draft coming up pretty soon, which in this draft is a very heavy draft filled with superstar talent. Who can make the Hall of Fame one year with their potential superstar talent when they get to the league?
If they live up to the hype.
Yes, and potentially, speaking of potentially, arguably going to be the number 1 overall pick in this year's upcoming draft, was at the Sixers game. When was it? 2 nights ago?
Against the Brooklyn Nets. We got blown out. It was 141 to 118.
That's not even talking about the game.
Yeah, don't talk about the game.
We're going to stick to this player.
No, everyone's out.
Markel Fultz was at the Sixers game. And he was interviewed and said he wouldn't mind playing in Philly. He trusts the process.
Ooh.
Now I see that.
Yes.
My question is, why did he go to that Sixers game?
Again,
it's not like he's from Philly.
No.
It's not like we don't think we have any ties or connections to Philly.
Hey.
Why would he show up to the Sixers game? Out of the blue.
The hype about the Sixers.
He doesn't have any, I don't think he has any connection or ties to playing for the Nets. Because the Nets pick is going to the Celtics.
Yes.
So, why is he at a Sixers game?
I think he wants to play for Philly. I think he'd be a great fit in Philly. I'll be excited for him. Well, the problem is with him, he might be the first overall pick in the draft. And right now we have the 5th worst record in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we find a way, unless we get a couple first-round picks. Oh, no. Instead of me explaining, I'm going to ask you the question. Because OKC's top 20 protected, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get OKC's pick.
Mm-hmm.
Would you trade our
now,
2 first-round picks?
I know exactly where you're about to go with this
for
because
Markel Fultz to go up in the draft.
What's crazy? Last night I was talking about this with my boys.
Yeah.
And they asked me the same question. All right, so this is the answer I gave to them. The Sixers, I think, are gonna hold on.
I know.
I think the Sixers are gonna have a top 5 pick in this year's draft.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hands down.
With the way that the draft has gone over the few years, I still wouldn't be surprised if the Sixers landed the number 1 pick, because the Cavaliers landed it 2 years in a row when they drafted Kyrie and Anthony Bennett. And then they landed it again when they drafted Andrew Wiggins.
Yes.
Okay. I think they've had it the number 1 pick 3 out of 4 years. I think there has to be something behind it, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay? And I don't
like the lottery process.
Neither do I. But this is why I say, don't give up on having the number 1 pick, because the Sixers still have a chance to get it, and they still have a chance to have the Lakers pick.
All right. Let me rephrase it then.
Mm-hmm.
On draft day, we get the 5th pick of the draft. We don't get lucky, and we don't get the Lakers pick.
Remember, we have the Heat's pick and we have the Thunder's pick.
Yes. All right. So let's say this: we get the Heat and Thunder's pick, and our pick. Our pick's 5. We don't get the Lakers pick. We don't get lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Do you make that trade? 2 out of those 3 picks, or possibly all 3 of the first-round picks, to go up to number 1? Well, probably not. Well, it depends. I don't really know. Lonzo and him are neck and neck. To go up to number 1 and take Fultz.
All right. No, this is what I said I would do.
This is on draft day.
This is something I said I would do. We have potentially 4 picks in the first round.
Yeah.
The Sixers pick, Heat, Thunder, and Mavericks.
Mm-hmm. The Thunder's going to be I
think the Thunder and the Heat pick is definitely. I think the Heat's pick is top 10 protected.
I'll just fact check that real quick.
So,
I got you.
And the Sixers can also have 3 picks in the second round. Now, everybody that knows me knows I want Malik Monk. Now, cool. No problem. Whoever ends up with the number 1 pick, okay, I would try and do the trade without giving up our pick, which is something that's not gonna happen. But I'm just a guy who likes to dream. I don't think there's anything wrong with dreaming. Just ask Martin Luther King. I don't think there's anything wrong with dreaming. But would I do it for Markel Fultz? No. You hear me, Josh?
Yeah, I'm listening now.
I said no.
Why not?
Markel Fultz, 1, he went to Washington. Now, there's nothing wrong with the program, but they just don't have a good basketball program. And we seen what he has. Well, we seen what he's done without having other talent on his team. He averaged, I think it was 23 points, 6 assists, and 4 or 5 rebounds?
Yeah.
Something like that.
He had a great year.
Mm-hmm. He did. But he didn't have any talent next to him.
Yeah.
And 2, I don't really like his mentality, because the Sixers aren't going to be good for about another 3 to 4 years. And just this season alone, he showed sore loser mentality.
Oh yeah, my fault. Just before you move on, the Heat's pick is a second round pick. It's projected 31 to 40. It's not a first round pick.
It's not?
No, it's not.
All right. So, back to the point I was trying to make. Washington is not that great of a basketball program, and we know that. And there was times when they were down 10, 15, 20 points, and my man Markel Fultz is walking up and down the court, showing no urgency, showing nothing that he wants to play. Now, how many times do we see, like, the game he went to, the Sixers lost by, 23?
We got beat.
By, like, over 20 points? What makes you think he wouldn't do that in the NBA as well? He shows sore loser mentality. And I don't think that's something that is really acceptable in the NBA. Like I just said, the Sixers aren't going to be good for about another 3 to 4 years. Washington isn't a good team, period. Well, the Washington Huskies, pardon me, for people think I said the Washington Wizards. Yeah. So if he's doing that with the Huskies, what makes you think he's not going to do that with the Sixers?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I get your point.
I don't want that type of mentality on our team.
Yeah.
You really think he's going to survive like that in Philly?
Well, I mean, people do change.
I guarantee you, if he has that same type of mentality in Philly, he's getting cursed out by every fan. Everybody's going to boo him.
That is true.
And not want him on the team.
I mean, I'm going to look at it.
That's why I'm sticking to my man Malik Monk.
So you're going to stick to Malik Monk.
Malik Monk, who is the shooter that we need, is going to fit grit. I mean, pardon me. He's going to fit great in our offense. And he's played with competition around him and talent on his team. I mean, he played with Fox, Briscoe, Bam Bam,
the team
Derek
went
Willis.
to the Elite Eight.
The team went to the Elite Eight, and he still averaged 19 or 20 points a game. And against North Carolina, he dropped 47 points.
That was early in the year, not in the tournament, though.
47 points is still 47 points.
Yeah, I know.
On a team against North Carolina.
They won it all.
Okay? They
won
did.
It all.
That's why I'm sticking to my man Malik Monk, and no, I'm not making that trade.
All right, so you're going to stick to your man Malik Monk.
Yes.
You do remember, we also have future first-round picks as well. So we don't even have to get rid of our pick this year. I mean,
we don't, but then look who's coming up in a couple years. Michael Porter.
True, you're right.
We can mess around, get Michael Porter.
I mean, but I feel like if we have Simmons and Embiid, and then we get Fultz and Monk, we won't even be a lottery team anymore.
Oh no! All right, then let me reassure this. Then, if the Sixers get the Lakers pick along with their pick,
yes,
I'd go after both players. But if the Sixers get the number 1 pick and there's Lonzo's ball, I'm taking Lonzo ball.
Taking Lonzo?
I'm taking Lonzo because Lonzo,
he's real.
He plays on both ends of the ball. He's gonna play defense. He makes everybody around him better.
That is true. I agree with that.
He can flirt with a triple-double every night. He scores. I mean, him and Markel Fultz are pretty much the same player, but he doesn't have that sore loser mentality that Markel Fultz has. I think there goes your difference.
Yeah, and also Lonzo was on a UCLA team before he came to the program. Terrible. I mean, they were about 500, a little bit below 500, if that. He comes into the team, takes him to the Sweet 16. What did he average? Like 14 points?
Wait. You're not going to blow right past that. Right past that. Who they lose to?
They lost to Kentucky. But who did Kentucky lose to?
All right.
Yeah,
North Carolina.
My projected.
On the luckiest, I'm telling you right now, the kid was praying to the man up above, that jump shot went in.
I'm not even going to lie. Malik Monk's shot was lucky, too. He shot that over 2 people.
Clutch.
He shot that over 2 people. All right,
it wasn't the first time he did it. It wasn't the first time he did it.
I know, but you got to call his shot clutch.
No, it was luck.
He hit it at the buzzer.
I was about to say Markel Fultz.
I don't even know his
Malik
name.
Monk, I think he's the son of Christian Laettner. Because Christian Laettner went on Twitter
that would be funny if he is.
Said that, because remember, Christian Laettner did the same thing against Kentucky.
I know.
Remember they heaved the ball down the court, and yes. They had 2 seconds left. He turned around, shot it.
Yes.
He went on Twitter and said something, "Congratulations, my son," or something like that. We both did it against the same team. It was something like that.
Well, I don't know if it's his son. They don't look alike at all.
They don't look alike, but they don't have the same last name. I'm gonna look it up.
Maybe they gotta go on Jerry.
Make your case, and I'm
gonna
gonna look it up
Maybe
because
they
my
gotta
man
go on
Malik
Jerry.
Monk was clutch.
Clutch?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. Those 2 shots were big time shots. I was looking at them, I'm like, dang. Not 1, but 2. And the second one, he shot over 2 people. But come on now, you got to give that man his props. He hit the buzzer beater shot. What's his name again? I don't really.
Who?
The guy that hit the shot, the white guy.
May? Was it May?
May. I don't even know that. Like, and you know what's funny? The next day, he goes to his 8:15 class.
His name is Luke May.
Luke May.
Yeah. And he did go to his 8:15 class.
He went to his 8:15 class the day after.
Oh no, pardon me, I'm way off. Christian Leitner went on Twitter and said, "Luke, my son."
Yeah.
Now I'm guessing Christian Leitner must think he's God, and you have Luke, who is the disciple.
Yeah.
I guess that's where he got that from. He says, "Luke, my son, may the force of 32 be with you." All right.
Quote on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Damn,
do you want to move on to our next topic and final topic, or do you want to continue with Markel?
I want you to answer the question.
You want me to answer the
question?
question?
Would you make the trade for Markel Fultz? Because I'm not.
I'm not even glad. I would. He is he's great talent, great athleticism, and I think if he's put in a better situation, I think he'll be able to lead the team, be a perfect complement to Simmons and Embiid. He brings a competitive fire. I mean, yeah, you can say there was times where his leadership was in question, but I feel like if he's put on it with a team with other superstars around him or great players around him, I think he will elevate his game and become that future point guard, that Philly point guard mentality that we have to have. And I would make the trade.
What's the Philly mentality point guard that he has to have?
The Philly mentality point guard.
Because if you're thinking the same thing, I'm thinking he doesn't have it.
I said he can develop it. Scrappiness, hard, he's going to give you 100% effort every time. When I think of Philly point guard, I think of Kyle Lowry, how he plays. I mean, a lot of people question Kyle Lowry's game.
To be honest with you.
But one of his good things is he's very scrappy.
You're missing
hard.
something that every Philly point guard has.
Heart.
That's something that's not taught. That's something you're born with.
He can get heart.
You're not. You can't.
He has heart. He does.
I don't see it. The reason why I don't see it is because you have a sore loser mentality.
You will see it.
Like, for instance, Kyle Lowry. Does he not play with the scrappiness and the heart?
Yes, he does.
Who is another Philly? The Morris twins.
Yes.
Who else is from Philly?
A lot of people up and coming. Philly's up and coming talent. You got Quade Green.
Quade Green. The kid, he's 5'10". I know this kid personally. He's going to Kentucky. 5'10". They label him 6 foot. The most heart I've ever seen a basketball player have.
From Philly.
I don't think Markel Fultz has the heart.
We'll see.
And I think he's shown that in Washington. When you're down 20 with 6 minutes left, you can make a comeback in 6 minutes. Why are you walking up and down the court throwing a pissy fit when you don't even call for the ball? And you're the superstar player, potentially the number 1 pick in the draft. 1, you're not calling for the ball. 2, you're walking up and down the court. 3, when your teammates shoot the ball and don't miss it, you're sitting there throwing your hands in the air. Why?
He's young. How old is he? 18, 19 years old?
So it just goes to show he doesn't have that heart. He doesn't have that Philly heart.
He's going to develop it.
You can't develop heart.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. You can't develop heart. It's something you're born with.
Something you're born with.
It's something you're born with.
You just have it or you don't have it.
You have it or you don't have it. And Markel Fultz doesn't have it.
All right, I'll respect it. I'll respect it.
Now we're going to move on to our final topic.
Yes, final topic.
There was a report going out that Richard Sherman and the Patriots linking up together.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, whatever. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just going to get straight to the point. It's not going to happen. I don't think it'll happen. If it does happen, I'm never watching football.
This year, I'm not watching football.
But the report said that the only possible way it'll happen is if the Patriots don't get Butler back.
So they got to give up Butler to get him.
Yes.
Which does make sense because Butler is a number 1 corner on the Patriots.
Now, hold on before you. I'm going to cut you off.
No, you good. You got it.
The problem I see with that is They signed Stephon Gilmore into a 5-year, $68 million deal.
Big time money.
Richard Sherman and Gilmore play on the right side of the field.
Ooh.
Which player? And we all know Richard Sherman. He's stubborn. He's cocky.
On that one side of
confidence.
The field.
He stays on that one side of the field. And he doesn't move. Now, I don't know Stephon Gilmore as a player because I never really watched him. I just know he played for Buffalo. I never really knew he was worth $68 million. But he's not like Butler. Butler, who is calm, confident, he's willing to do whatever it takes for the team to win.
Yeah, and he earned his way to that number one corner spot.
Yes.
He was undrafted,
Mm-hmm.
fought his way on, made the biggest play in Super Bowl history, in my opinion.
So there, right there,
he's earned his way.
I don't know if Stephon Gilmore and Richard Sherman will butt heads, or maybe they're willing to do it because they're going to play for the Patriots, and they're almost guaranteed to win another Super Bowl, and they're the front runners for Super Bowl 51. So we really don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, and aren't they about to get Adrian Peterson too?
He visited them.
Oh,
He walked away without receiving a deal. He's supposed to visit it was a team he was supposed to visit today. Well, the report went out. He's supposed to visit them this week or something like that. Can't remember the name of the team. But I don't really think that even if Adrian Peterson was to sign with the Patriots, it'll be a good fit for him.
Yeah, he met with the Saints.
It was the Saints. Yeah. So I don't even really think he'll be a good fit for them either. I think Adrian Peterson has to go to a team that has a stable, developed line, like the Eagles.
The Eagles.
I don't think he'll come here.
Nah, I'm not even gonna lie. I think him in New England would actually be a great fit. Because he's at the point now in his career. He's 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's taken a lot of hits in his career. He's coming off of 2 knee injuries. He tore his ACL a couple years ago. I believe this year he had a meniscus problem. He needs to be at that place where he's splitting carries with someone else. And I think New England would be a perfect fit because how New England plays, like I'm going to say with San Antonio, they have that system where some game they just go off a matchup. Some days they pass the ball 50 times. Some days they power run it. Adrian Peterson doesn't have to run the ball, doesn't have to get 250 carries like he always does in his career. He can split carries with James White. James White is more of a passing back, but I think he'll be a great fit in New England, and he can take his career. He can last longer in this league because we know how running backs are in the NFL. They don't last long. Once you hit 28, 29, you're done. You get replaced. You get someone new comes up. That's what happens because you take a lot of hits as a running back. It's not even just the NFL. You're in college taking hits. You're in high school. Your whole life you're running the ball. You get hit.
Especially his type of run too.
Yeah, and he
runs
hard.
But I just think that the reason why I don't think he'll fit with the Patriots as well is because they don't have a stable line, and we all know what happens. Well, last season when he was with Minnesota, they didn't have a stable line.
They also
and
tried to make him change his run style too.
1.9 yards per carry, and they tried to make him change his run style too, like you said.
You can't change someone's run
which the
style.
Patriots, a lot of times, are in a no huddle, and Tom Brady's in a shotgun. So I really think that played a factor, and we all see that Adrian Peterson is good when the quarterback's under center and he has that full boost of run ahead of him. Like you're 6-7 yards behind the quarterback, and he's gonna need those 6-7 yards to really benefit him.
All right,
and to hit the hole hard.
Now I just want to wrap up on this last topic. Speaking about running backs, Marshawn Lynch reportedly said to the Raiders that he plans to unretire. How do you think Marshawn Lynch would fit in the Raiders' offensive system?
Great, like he fits in every other team he's been with. Great.
Beast mode is back.
He's not back officially.
He's gonna be back. I'm calling it.
Yeah, he's gonna come back. I think he's gonna come back to want to play for the Raiders. But I think that it's for people to say that he wants to play for his hometown team is now irrelevant.
Yeah, because
he's from Oakland, but
Yeah.
they're moving from Oakland to Las Vegas.
I mean, they are
So
there.
it's irrelevant to say he wants to play for his hometown team. Maybe his favorite team growing up.
Yeah.
Because they've always stayed in Oakland. But either that or he just wants to play for the Raiders because the Raiders, I think if Derek Carr didn't get hurt, they would have probably gave the Patriots a run for their money.
Yeah.
And probably made it to the Super Bowl.
And I mean, I think
and the Raiders are missing a running back now.
Yeah, because Latavius Murray is left.
And
so
they have a great line.
Running back.
And they have a great line. And Marshawn Lynch, I think after what happened in the last Super Bowl, really want to break somebody's neck, but can't do it.
I know, you don't give them the ball at the 1 yard line.
The 3 yard line.
They're at the 1.
They're at the 1?
Yeah, they're at the 1.
I don't know, but we all seen what happened.
They're at the 1.
We all
He's
seen
the
what
most physical
happened.
back in the game. Like at the time,
we all
he was
seen
the
what
physical.
happened.
They don't call him beast mode for nothing. But
it is
just
what it
real
is.
quick,
Que sera.
if the Eagles left the city of Philadelphia, like Oakland's leaving, I don't even know how the Philadelphia media would be able to handle such a thing. If you're an Oakland fan,
I think they can't.
Do you watch the team? Do you watch the team these next 2 years?
To be honest with you, I don't think that they leave the city because Philadelphia is a top 2 market in the country. That's one reason. 2, the question you just asked me is yes, I would still watch them because I've grown up to them.
Yeah.
I have a history of Eagle fans in my family. 3, I can't remember the third point I was gonna make. But back to the first point though. I don't think they could leave the city. And the third point I was gonna make was actually about leaving the city. They're not gonna get the same type of support and fan base that they're gonna get here in Philly. They've been in Philly for over 40 years. I believe over 50 years.
I was just saying if like the Eagles pulled like an Oakland Raiders because when you think of football, the Oakland Raiders fan base is one of the best in football, one of the best. And the way how they're leaving
hands down
to Las Vegas, if I was an Oakland fan,
and to be honest with you, I
so
think that is something that's not going to benefit the league, but it's going to hurt the NFL. Because Las Vegas is the city of sin. Sin of City, whatever you want to call it.
Sin City.
Sin City. But Las Vegas, though, I think that's where a lot of players are going to go and get in trouble with the league.
I can see
you know how Roger Goodell is with players that are in trouble with the league.
You're fine.
Then it's called either you're suspended for smoking weed, trying to heal your body, or whatever the case may be. But Roger Goodell is probably the worst commissioner ever, and he's probably going to get worse and make even more worse decisions if, if what I'm thinking is actually going to happen happens. So I just don't think this team moving to Las Vegas is a good idea.
Anything else you want to talk about, or are you ready to wrap this up?
Is that it?
I think that's it.
All right, hold on. Let me ask you a question, though.
All right, real quick.
All right. Who do you think the Eagles are going to take in the first round?
You just put me on the spot. Position-wise, defensive. But lately we've been talking about Christian McCaffrey, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I
don't like him.
I'm not really a fan of him either. So I think Bennett out of Tennessee, I'm going to stick to my mock draft we had.
Derek Bennett?
Yeah. I'm going to stick to my mock draft we had about 4 or 5 podcasts ago. I'm going to stick with Bennett with the 14th pick. We typically go pass rusher in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stick to that.
All right. Well, the reason why I can't say that the Eagles are going to go pass rusher
I know we did
is because they just made the trade for Timmy Jernigan.
Oh, yeah, Timmy Jernigan, defensive tackle.
Yes, that's 1. And 2, they signed Chris Long. 3, I think they'll go pass rusher.
But
not in the first round.
Yeah.
I think they'll take the kid out of Villanova. I'm not even going to say his name because I'm not going to embarrass myself.
Ojuwawu or
No. That was you saying that about the basketball player.
Oh yeah.
This guy is Tupananga, whatever, however you say his name.
Tipanaga.
Something like that. But
ready to wrap it up?
You go Derek Barnett?
The kid, the corner from Ohio State, Garen Cooley.
Oh, okay.
I can see that direction.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, At this point, the Eagles have made so many moves as free agency. I'm excited. Every move I
Tony,
see,
they're gonna make the playoffs. They're making the playoffs.
Every move I've seen the
They're
Eagles
making the
make this
playoffs.
season, I have been happy for the first time in a long time.
For the first time in a long time,
can
we
say
actually
that
have
I'm-
a number one receiver.
Yes, and I'm really excited for this next
A number
season.
one and a number two. And a number three if you want to get technical with
Matthews in the slot.
Yes. And a number four if you want to go with Zach
come
Ertz.
on. Zach Ertz is tight end.
I mean, you could turn him into a receiver. Well, all right, he can be a receiving tight end because the West Coast offenses are really specialized for tight ends.
Yep.
So
Hopefully it'll show up early in the season for once, not in the last 2 games.
I don't even want to talk about that.
But
That's it for our today's show.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram at Swoop Podcast _ Like, subscribe, show friends, family. And this is Josh and Dante signing off.
Swoop!
Swoop!